We are now in the Kant lecture, and this is part 2. Here, we're going to discuss the goodwill in relation to happiness. Also, we'll introduce the notion of worthiness of happiness, to which we will relate the goodwill. So, goodwill in relation to happiness, and the goodwill in relation to worthiness of happiness. Not the same thing. Happiness and worthiness of happiness. One of the ultimate realizations in the Kantian sense self-reflection is that being happy does not make one morally good. I'm sure we can think of happy criminals who get away with crime as an extreme example here. One can be happy without being morally good. We can see that point. Clearly, Kant means by happiness something other than what Aristotle would mean by happiness. Kant has a rather usual notion of happiness. If one feels good, one is happy. So, in this sense, Kant would like to say that if one is happy or feels good, that does not indicate that one is also being moral. Aristotle, however, would think that we are using language and thinking here in a confused way. Aristotle would not agree that there are happy criminals. Their souls would be full of turmoil, conflict, excesses, and deficiencies. Kant, and we as moderns, may agree about the state of their souls, but still insist that such persons may be happy. That is because we tend to think of happiness as something more akin to pleasure than a harmonious and orderly way of the soul being at work, as did Aristotle. Additionally, the relationship between happiness and the goodwill also runs the other way. Being a goodwill does not make one happy either. Just as happiness doesn't mean that one has the goodwill, in the same way, having a goodwill does not mean that one is happy. I'm sure we can think of persons with goodwill who are not happy, either in that same and excessive sense of happiness of criminals who get away with their crimes, or just persons with goodwill that are not happy at all. The world may not award the goodwill, and even the persons of goodwill themselves may not enjoy or take pleasure in it. Good and happiness run on two completely different tracks, argues Kant. They may sometimes coincide, but that is accidental and not by the essence of what they are. The realms of physical nature and good will are not the same. We will have to say more about that shortly. However, there is a relationship between the goodwill and happiness due to what each one of these is in their essence. Goodwill does not make one happy, but makes one worthy of being happy. That is morally worthy. And that assessment is, of course, from the standpoint of reason and not desire. That is to say, if one has the goodwill, one has earned the right to be happy, though it may not happen that one is happy. And so the goodwill only guarantees the worthiness of happiness, but not necessarily the happiness itself.